Ever get that feeling like the world's just speeding up? All these new discoveries, big global shifts. Trying to keep track can feel like, well, a full-time job.
It really can, yeah. It's like navigating this constant flood of information.
Yeah.
You've got to find the important signals and all that noise, figure out the key directions things are moving in.
Exactly. And, well, that's what we're trying to do right here. We've really dug into the big research trends expected for 2025, trying to pinpoint the core areas driving innovation. Think of this as maybe your shortcut to understanding the currents shaping what's next.
hmm We've looked at quite a few sources discussing these trends, identifying the sort of pivotal themes, getting serious attention across different fields.
So our mission today is pretty straightforward. Give you a clear, hopefully engaging overview of the major research areas this year. We want to cover not just what's happening, but, why it matters and maybe where you could look to learn more. Okay, let's dive in. Where should we start?
Well, a logical place, I think, is a field that seems to intersect with almost everything else these days: artificial intelligence.
AI, right? Feels like you can't avoid it. Our sources definitely highlighted its transformative power. Things like education, healthcare, even cybersecurity, keeping our digital stuff safe.
And what's interesting is how it's advancing on two fronts, really. There's the practical application side, but also this growing awareness of its broader impact.
Hmm.
It's not just about smarter algorithms anymore, but also making sure they're used well, fairly.
That's such a key point.
Yeah.
Making these powerful tools actually beneficial and, accessible to people. And the real world stuff is already pretty amazing. Like the sources mention AI-driven learning platforms, personalized ones, used by millions already.
Exactly.
As someone always trying to learn more, that idea of education tailored just for you, that's really compelling, like a path that adapts to how you learn.
Precisely. And it goes beyond how we learn, too. It's changing how research itself gets done. AI is starting to automate tasks that used to take ages, human effort, and it's finding patterns, making predictions that help researchers move faster.
Okay, here's where it got really interesting for me. One report mentioned platforms using AI, like ChatGPT, already personalizing learning for over 150 million users. That's just a massive scale.
Huge scale.
And Geopol's 2025 Trends report, it highlighted AI predictive analytics becoming like essential for businesses trying to make smarter calls.
That scale of adoption really tells you how pervasive AI is becoming. And like our sources suggest, it's not just the tech itself, it's this growing need to understand, okay, what are the wider societal effects? How do we manage this?
Okay, so AI is clearly, yeah, a dominant force. What other big areas are buzzing with activity?
Another one that's just undeniably critical, really urgent, is everything around climate change and sustainability. It's a
Yeah.
global priority driving a ton of research and innovation.
Absolutely. You really can't miss the urgency there. The sources we looked at emphasize these like unprecedented levels of investment pouring into renewables globally. That's a serious commitment.
It is, and it's fueling actual breakthroughs in specific green tech. We're seeing big advances in things like solid-state batteries for electric vehicles. Think next-gen EV batteries, potentially safer, packing more energy into less space. That has real, tangible benefits if you're thinking about an EV.
Yeah, longer range, better safety. That would definitely move the needle on adoption. What other green tech stood out?
Well, developing carbon capture tech is getting a lot of traction, especially using things called metal organic frameworks, or MOFs.
MOFs?
Yeah, think of them as like um, super tiny, highly structured sponges designed to grab specific gases like CO2. Our research showed that carbon capture as a field is growing nearly 20% a year. So there's real momentum there.
That's encouraging. And it's not just about the high-tech stuff, is it? The sources also talked about sustainable cities, urban development.
Exactly right. The UN projects almost 70% of us will live in cities by 2050.
Yeah.
So figuring out more sustainable ways to run our cities is crucial. That includes things like the circular economy, converting waste into energy through biomass conversion, that kind of thing.
Turning trash into power. Yeah, that makes sense.
Hmm.
The articles also mentioned ideas like zero-waste buildings and AI helping run public transport more efficiently. It all seems connected.
It is very interconnected.
And let's not forget the jobs angle. IRENA, the International Renewable Energy Agency, and other analyses suggest renewables have already created over 13 million jobs worldwide. That's a significant shift.
It really is. And connecting this back, the research in sustainability isn't just about stopping bad things. It's also about building a future that's more resilient, more economically sound.
Okay, shifting gears a bit. Another vital area,
Yeah.
healthcare and biotech. Seems like there's tremendous interest here, especially maybe after the last few years.
Absolutely. We're seeing a real surge in precision medicine, that's tailoring treatments to your individual genetic makeup, and also, critically, a much bigger focus on mental health.
Precision medicine sounds incredibly targeted. The sources highlighted CRISPR-based therapies expanding in drug discovery. Like, we're getting tools to tackle diseases at a really fundamental level with more accuracy.
And the pace is remarkable. The FDA approving Casgevy, a CRISPR therapy, was mentioned as a real landmark. It shows the potential to treat things once thought, well, untreatable.
That's genuinely groundbreaking. And the increased focus on mental health research feels so necessary. The articles pointed to post-pandemic efforts looking into teletherapy, digital tools for mental health support, making care more accessible.
Indeed, WHO stats showed a big jump in young adults reporting worse well-being. So research into digital ways to help, well, it offers a way to reach more people with support they can actually access.
So from tiny gene editing to big picture mental health support, healthcare research is tackling a really wide spectrum.
It is. And just when you think we've covered the big ones, we probably need to talk about quantum computing.
Quantum computing. Still sounds a bit sci-fi, doesn't it? But the sources suggest it's becoming more tangible.
It's definitely an emerging frontier, yeah. Potentially hugely disruptive. The research highlighted Google's Willow chip. Its potential to basically rewrite the rules for cybersecurity or speed up drug discovery through these incredibly complex simulations.
Wow. One Forbes piece we saw suggested Willow could solve problems in minutes that would take today's best supercomputers, like millennia. That's hard to even wrap your head around, that kind of power jump.
It's a genuine leap. Still early days, for sure, but the implications for things like cryptography, new materials, they're just enormous. Okay, so we've hit some amazing tech advances, but the sources also made it clear that research in 2025 isn't only about the tech itself, right?
Precisely. I mean, with all this powerful tech, you have to look at the bigger picture, how it fits into society. There are major social and ethical questions alongside the technical ones. Right, things like data privacy, which feels more relevant than ever. And also this issue of trust or lack of it in institutions. Social polarization, too. These are research areas in their own right.
Absolutely. Research into digital safety, how to build AI systems that are actually equitable, strategies to deal with loneliness, social fragmentation. These are becoming just as important.
Pew Research data showed only about 22% of Americans trusting the federal government. Research World noted similar trends globally. That erosion of trust is a huge challenge.
It is, and it connects back to tech, too. Think about AI bias. MIT Sloan found something like 85% of AI projects can underdeliver or fail, partly due to bias. So the need for things like fairness, audits, ethical guidelines, it's critical.
Okay, so that adds another really important layer. We need the tech, but we desperately need to figure out how to use it responsibly and deal with the societal shifts.
That's a good way to put it.
Finally, the sources briefly mentioned a couple other big areas getting attention: global health equity and space exploration.
Yes, maybe not covered in quite as much depth in the sources we saw, but still significant. Things like ensuring fair, transparent vaccine distribution globally, that's still a major research focus.
Right.
And then there's the commercialization of space. Asteroid mining, lunar colonies.
Right.
It sounds futuristic, but it's driving real innovation in science and engineering.
Yeah, the space economy valued at over, $540 billion. That definitely shows the scale there. And NASA's Artemis program, focused on getting back to the moon long term, is pushing a lot of that research.
So looking across all these different fields, AI, sustainability, health, quantum, ethics, space, what are the common threads? What connects them?
Well, one big takeaway seems to be this move towards interdisciplinary work. It's getting clearer that you can't solve these huge problems from just one angle. You need different experts talking to each other.
Exactly. The big issues don't fit neatly into boxes. There's a real push to align research with these pressing global needs, get people collaborating across old boundaries, academia and industry working together more.
And for anyone listening who's maybe involved in research or thinking about it, the sources did mention funding opportunities. Organizations like the National Science Foundation, Horizon Europe, they're actively supporting work in these key areas.
Indeed. They recognize how important these directions are and are putting resources behind them.
So to kind of wrap up our deep dive into the 2025 research landscape, we've seen AI pushing forward everywhere. Climate and sustainability driving huge innovation in green tech and cities, healthcare making strides in precision medicine and mental health. Quantum computing is on the horizon as a potential game changer. And alongside all that, vital work on ethics, equity, and even space.
It's clear that 2025 is a really dynamic, pivotal year for research. Lots of opportunities to contribute, and certainly a lot to learn as these fields keep evolving so quickly.
Absolutely. And it really makes you think, doesn't it? With all this happening so fast, what's the one area you think holds the biggest potential to really reshape things? And, what questions does that bring up for you personally? Definitely something to mull over as all this continues to unfold.